The question should be really, why is a perfect wife attracted to losers? You know, because it doesn't really make sense for a perfect wife to be attracted to losers. Hey guys, welcome to this today's broadcast. You are with me, the teacher, and today I have a wonderful guest, a beautiful lady, a white lady. I've met it in life.
No, I'm just light brown.
Oh, so she's just like brown. That's why she's saying
Light.
It doesn't matter. I've made it in life, guys. So I would like her to introduce herself. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Thelma. I am South African, born and bred, and I'm a child of the Most High King Jesus Christ.
Wow. So, Thelma, my name is Paul, but I introduced myself as the teacher, so you might be wondering, I'm also a servant of the Most High God, and I'm a teacher.
Okay.
Yes, so, yeah, so tell me about yourself, like, what do you do,
Well, currently, in terms of working for means for survival, I'm in between jobs.
Okay.
Waitering.
Okay.
I recently relocated to Cape Town from Victoria.
Okay.
Before which I was working as a corporate sales professional in real estate and alternative utilities, and as well as marketing and public relations.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. And currently I'm also in the beginning phases of working with a company that supplies, or they manufacture luxury food and beverage products. So I'm working as a sales person for them, and we're also now starting to look into marketing and communications activities for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So basically telling me that you are born again Christian.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so how long, when did you get born again? Like what compared you also to get born again? Like?
Okay, so I was brought up Christian, right?
Okay.
My parents are Christian. So we grew up I grew up in the church. Although my parents were in and out of the church, right? But I mean, it's during one of the phases that we were in the church that I think I was probably 11 or 12 years old. 10, 11, 12. You know, like early teens.
Yeah.
That I was in church, and I can't really remember what it was that convinced me or compelled me to give my heart to Christ, but I did. And that was the first time. But then, towards the end of high school, I sort of went off track and
like everybody does. High school is wild, eh?
Sure. Yeah, it was a tough one trying to evangelize to teenagers in high school.
Yeah.
But now towards the end of high school, I went way off track, and so around 2018, I was in a relationship with a guy, living with him, and I really wanted to move back to God. However, he didn't particularly appreciate the fact that all of a sudden, I'm spending 2 hours a night, in prayer and reading and so on. So it was very difficult to maintain my relationship with God at that point. And also, it was a problem if I wanted to go to church. It's like, he didn't want to take me, so I had to arrange for someone else to take me. And, even to this point in time, it's very difficult for me to ask people for help.
Okay.
Even for something as simple as, can I please have a lift to church? Because it's not only going to be one time, it's going to be
every Sunday.
Every time, can I go with you to church? And I suppose it's something that I need to work on.
Okay.
So that was difficult. Then we broke up, and I believe it's God's way of separating me from that. That's a story in and of itself. Right?
Yeah.
And after that, I've just moved back to systematically, and last year with the lockdown, it was a perfect opportunity to reconnect and learn a lot and grow much closer to him as well.
Okay. Alright, so right now are you seeing somebody? Do you have a girlfriend, or now you like
No.
So much focus.
Yeah. No, I don't have a boyfriend.
Mm.
Earlier this year, around April,
Mm.
I was quite swiftly involved with a gentleman.
Okay.
And I quickly realized that was a mistake. Because things happen that I know that God doesn't want to have happen. And, but I think that was just also sort of a confirmation of, you know what, this, no matter how much you desire marriage, you need to let go of that desire so that you can focus on the work that you need to do for Christ.
Wow.
You see? Because now when you are so focused on, I want a husband or I want a wife, and it's the thing you think about when you lie down at night, then everybody who looks in your way is potential. It's a prospect.
Yeah.
You see?
So like, okay, but having the desire...
And that's not right, because now I become desperate and become weak.
No, but like, okay, look at it in this way, like having the desire, it will actually give you a desire to actually pray for the husband. So...
That's also true.
Yeah, so what do you think, like, this is okay to have a desire? I mean, we all desire stuff in life.
But I also think that if that desire becomes an idol, to the point that it draws you away from God or distracts you from your mission for God, then I think it becomes a problem.
Okay.
And obviously the desire, I think it's quite natural.
Yeah.
But I think also, especially if you've really surrendered your life to God and said, Lord, use me, then I think it's important to, how can I say, I think it's important to even come to a point where you have to be happy whether you get married or not. Whether you ever get married or not. I think you should come to a point where whether this way happens, that way happens, I'm fine, I've got God.
Okay.
You see.
Wow. No, but...
And then when he sends you your husband or your wife, then...
Yeah. Then you're happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's not easy, like especially in this time, to be a lady or a man, like fully dedicating yourself to the work of God, to say, hey, I think I'm not going to focus on this, I'm not going to desire this, I'm just going to focus myself on God. I mean, that's so unique. That's so unique, and I believe God is going to use you for, He's going to bring somebody who is also God-loving, because we don't want anybody who's going to mess your life up again.
Completely distract you.
Yeah. So you've got a purpose, and if any guy comes, definitely it's either he's going to help you or distract you. So yeah, you just have to...
He's gonna strengthen you in your relationship with God, or he's trying to distract you. Same with a woman.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, for example, with the guy that I was involved with earlier this year, that was a mistake. It's like, what it would do is he also identify as Christian.
Okay.
But then I got manipulated by him twisting the word in ways which I knew. It's like, this is not right. Like, what are you saying?
So basically, he was using the same word for his own advantage instead of
instead of like the real meaning of it.
I know those kind of people.
And that's the lesson that I learned. It's like, because I was too, shall we say, I don't like it to say it, but there's no other way. It's like I was too desperate for the affection and the attention, and like when you're in that position, you jump.
Yeah, just do whatever.
Red flags are flaming, it's like fire flags that are waving, and you're just like, no, I like him.
He's nice, all those stuff. Okay, wow. So what made you move from Pretoria to Cape Town?
That's an interesting story. It's also a God story. So last year, November, like halfway in November, because last year I was staying with my parents during the lockdown. Okay. And it was a trying time. Yeah. Believe me, it was a trying time. And so towards December, I was just really, I've just had enough of it, you know. And at that point, specific point in time, also I was wrestling with God, so I was like, you know, not chuffed with God, not happy, because I'm praying and praying and praying and praying and praying for months and months and months on end for a solution. Please, I want out. I want out of this situation. And it just seemed like nothing was happening. I was like, fine, I'm going to do my own thing now. And so this one night, I got an idea. Thinking about, I wonder what a bus ticket to Cape Town is going to cost me. So I checked online and it was $500. I'm like, I can sell my bed and go.
Okay.
And that's where it started developing. And literally from that point, 2 weeks later, I was in Cape Town.
Wow.
So
literally you came to Cape Town without any plans or whatsoever.
But
or
those
maybe
2 weeks I used to prepare thoroughly.
Okay.
Yeah. I looked for accommodation. I prepared a nice CV so that I can get a waitering job. Even though I was coming from corporate, I wanted to do, you know, I wanted to impress because I need a job here. I'm still there far, and so I did a lot of effort with that.
Yeah.
But now, see, the thing is, so on the day that I arrived, I got the room that I wanted, okay, and I interviewed at a restaurant and I got the job. It's at the restaurant that made my heart go boom boom boom.
Okay.
And I checked the vacancies.
Yeah.
So I started then the next Monday. I arrived on a Saturday, I started the Monday. For a week I trained. In the first week then I started working, actually picking up tables on the Tuesday. I served a table of two youngish gentlemen. And you know, towards the end of their visit at the restaurant, they wanted to evangelize to me. You know?
Really?
Yes. And so, but now I'm still wrestling with God. I'm like, I'm not involving him this Cape Town trip because I don't want him to interfere with my plans. He's not helping me. I'm going to Cape Town, no matter what you say. Right? So now, these guys at the restaurant are trying to evangelize to me, and I'm like, you know, I actually served. Yeah. So, I actually served Jesus Christ. And I'm like, oh, that's so nice. And then they said, and they prayed for me, and they gave me a verse right from the Bible. It was 1 Peter, let me quickly read it to you. 1 Peter 5 verse 10. It says, yes, you will suffer for a short time, but after that God will make everything right.
Wow.
He will make you strong, he will support you and keep you from falling.
Wow.
He is the God who gives all grace. He chose you to share in his glory in Christ. That glory will continue forever. So I'm like, at that point I started thinking, maybe it's actually God that was leading me to Cape Town.
Yeah.
So fast forward to February. So January was a tough month because there was another alcohol ban, so things were slow at the restaurant, and I didn't make enough money to pay my rent at the room where I was in a suburb. So I had to move to a backpackers in town. Okay. Not my favorite place to be, but I knew I had to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, one night, so I know God speaks to me in my dreams, right? Frequently, from experience, I know that God speaks to me in my dreams. And so this one night, after about 3 weeks being at the backpackers, I had a dream, and I'm like, I need to write this down. And before that, I haven't written down my dreams in my journal for a long time. It's not because I didn't have any dreams, just because I didn't write them down. So I decided, you know, since it's been a long time since I've written a dream, let me check the last one I had. And that was from the 2nd of August 2020.
Okay.
Right? You know what the dream is. Short dream. Okay? First sentence I wrote down. I had a dream that I moved to Cape Town.
Wow. Okay, so you see, I think this is so much interesting. Like, you know what, God speaks to us, but sometimes we ignore the voice of God.
Yeah.
You know, and you know,
at
first maybe it came like a mind, like, okay, what if I move to Cape Town? And then you started checking.
But at that point, I already forgot about the dream. You know, I wrote it down, but I didn't think about it.
Yeah, but then you see, I think this is what the Bible says, like, you know, everything works for the good of those who love the Lord. Like, it doesn't matter whether it looks bad or good, but it's working for your own good. You know, so most of the time I think we don't really know what's happening. We're just doing things out of, like, you know, okay, let me just do this. Not knowing that it's going to work.
You know, moving towards Cape Town is not something usual for me because it's a big move. I mean, I've never really moved so far away
So you
from
don't have
home
like...
on our own, you know.
Yeah, you should move to Malawi. Now you understand that's far.
Yeah, I've not had a dream about that yet.
Okay. Maybe you didn't write it down somewhere. Maybe you should check back, your journal. You will see it somewhere there.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, wow.
Okay, so, question.
Mm.
Why do men, and I'm generalizing at this point, choose to be with, whether that be date, be in a civil union with, or as we prefer it as Christians, or should be preferring it as Christians, marry? Quote unquote, intelligent woman.
Okay, intelligent woman. That's an interesting question. Wow, okay.
Should I define intelligent?
I don't know, okay, intelligent. But okay, I think for me, the way I look at it is everybody wants to be with somebody who is able to do certain stuff, It could be, let's say for example, not talking about like intelligence, but beauty itself. Every man is attracted to beauty. We start looking at, okay, how does she look, right? Instead of like, looking at the heart, like, how beautiful is she inside. Instead, we start looking at the beauty. So I think that also comes with the same mentality to say, okay, if this one, the way she is, like, how smart she is or how intelligent she is, she's going to add a certain value to me, if you know what I mean. So I think naturally we are just attracted to those kind of things. Like, I don't want to be, just to be like this. At least I need to shine to people to say, hey, I think my wife is so smarter than yours. You know what I mean? Like,
That's interesting because this makes me think of, you said, it's because if she's intelligent, okay, beauty, it's naturally a factor that attracts a man, okay?
Yeah.
Right? So, however, it's not the most important. So when you think about her intelligence and her smarts and, her character and so on, and you think, this woman might add value to me.
Yeah.
I think immediately of God created Adam and Eve, and made Eve as a helpmate to Adam. You see? Yeah, that's immediately what I think of, and so I think it's probably like a natural sort of thing that God then implanted.
Yeah, but then like
in your spirit or in your soul or in your being a manness.
No, I think sometimes we just marry for the sake of marrying, and like if we look at the cultures, I think cultures differ from like from where I am, from where I'm from. Basically, a man can marry anybody really, and then usually the ladies just use.
That sounds very liberal.
They just used in like okay, women will be taking care of their homes. If you have kids, the woman will be home taking care of the kids and making sure that she's doing all the household chores or whatever, right? And the man is the one who goes to to hunt and to work and to provide for the family. But I think that is also like a little bit dying nowadays, because also a woman can also work for herself. She doesn't have to be asking for everything from her husband, So we can look at probably like what the Bible says, like Proverbs 31, like a woman has to be able to do
a
things. She has to work and provide for the family. Yeah.
A queen, not just a woman, because
not just a woman.
They are queens.
Yes.
I think there's a difference, in my personal opinion.
Okay.
I think there's a difference between just a woman and a queen. So that's just perfect. Proverbs 31 starts with wise words for king. These are the ways kings that King Lemuel's mother taught him. And then later on, I hope it says, how hard is it to find the perfect wife? Yes, okay, alright.
Yeah, so
we can like say the perfect wife.
Yeah, so okay, let's say a perfect wife. to have a perfect wife, basically we look at the things like, is she able to provide for the family, even if you're not able to provide for the family, basically. At least she should be able to provide things, simple things like food, like, so basically, like, if we take, like, our typical life in, like, back home, a woman will still, like, even if there's no man or whatever, the woman will go fetch food from the forest or whatever, some vegetables and whatever, and come at home and will cook and, we'll all eat. But the fact is, she's able to do a little bit of work to provide for the family as well. It's not just a man who is supposed to do that, right? So at least if we can have a man, like, if the way I look at it, like a woman who is also, like, smart to be able to work and to do all things, and teach also, like, the family. Like, I mean, I would say that's sexy for a man. I don't know if I'm being too extreme, but, I'll be attracted to that kind of woman, So I think this is how I look at it now. Like, a woman has to be the full package, not just somebody who's gonna just be used at home to say, hey, I think, when going to church, you follow me, I'm going first, because you're afraid to be with the woman, but at least if the woman, I see, actually, if you continue reading that same verse, it says, like, a man will be on the corner of of the society and be bragging about your wife because of the things that she's able to do. So that would be something that I would really, really love,
Okay.
in a woman.
So let's say there is this woman. She's beautiful. She's smart. She has all things going for her, and she's the perfect wife.
Yeah.
But what then would you say is the requirements of a man that for a woman like that? What would you say is the requirements for a man? What things he should have in order? What sort of characteristics? What sort of do you understand what I mean? Like,
I kind of get
what are
what
the
you're saying.
requirements of a man that should to be, really on par with a woman of that stature?
You see, I can give you, like, the characteristics of the man, but I think, unfortunately, I don't know why this happens, but usually you never find a perfect match for anybody.
Yeah, okay, but let's assume there is something like perfect. It's very improbable, but let's assume.
Yeah, but at least
the best possible.
Yeah, but I think it's the usual things, like, your husband has to be loving and has to be able to still provide for the family and has to be there for the family. A God-fearing person has to be there for the family. You see, most of the people that are not there for their families, like, all they know is to associate with others. Maybe they'll go drinking, or they'll and then forsaking the family at home. But at least you need to be there for the family, So, I mean, there are so many things that a husband has to be. Unfortunately, sometimes it never happens like that. But, it has to be a perfect wife for a perfect husband. Yeah, of course it does happen like that. We cannot ignore it. Sometimes, when we look at love, it's something that we might not understand, like, why is she so much attracted to that loser,
Yeah, and
but,
I was going to ask that, so like, okay, so we might understand that a guy that's got his things together, has got his head on right, is a strong leader, is a strong provider, he's reliable, he's stable, he's caring, considerate, affectionate, we can understand that an intelligent woman might think, okay, well, this man is a good match for, the natural process of a healthy marriage that develops into a family, right? But now, why do losers to choose sometimes, and intelligent woman. Or wait, I'm not sure if that question really makes sense to me. How? Oh my, I've lost track of what I'm trying to say now.
So I think basically what you're trying to say is like, why is it that, you know, losers get to, you know, to end up with a perfect wife
or some of them could potentially be a perfect wife. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, as I said, like, you know, I think the question should be really, why is a perfect wife attracted to losers? You know, because it doesn't really make sense for a perfect wife to be attracted to losers. That's why I say that, you know, somehow I say it's unfair because these things just happens and you're like, you know, but she's so perfect, why is she with that person? You know, it happens like that, but then I think we all attracted, you know, to whoever we want, and sometimes we do regret, but I believe everything it's a lesson in life. Um, it's a lesson in life, and you learn through whatever you're going through, you know. So there have been people that they are in love with a loser. Maybe they are in his life just to change some stuff in him. You know what I mean? You know, so this takes me to where Paul was saying, like, you know, if unbeliever marries a believer, you know, do you divorce the unbeliever just because you are a believer? You know, so sometimes, like, you don't have to, you just have to pray with the person and make sure that, you know, the person, maybe their salvation is in you, or maybe their character is going to change through you. So yeah, as I was saying, you know, the perfect one can be, can bring the salvation to the other person, right? You know, the only thing that I don't understand is most of the times I think we are in a position whereby we don't really choose wisely, you know, because most of the times, like, I don't mind men, I know men, right? But ladies, I will always question, like, why good ladies always end up with a loser. You know? So maybe, I don't know, maybe you've got an answer for that.
It brings me back to what I said earlier about, like, for example, with me, that I've been in a position where we've got everything going for us, except we just don't realize our own value in God and our identity in God, and you know, we don't understand how to love ourselves and what it means to love ourselves, what it means for us to be loved, you know, and how to identify that. And so, this might be because we didn't have a good example of what love from a man should look like. And then, you know, when someone comes and smooth talks you, it's so, if you're in that position, you know, or at least you have a very deep and sort of strong, overwhelming, sort of a leading desire to be with a man or have the approval of man, then you can very easily be fooled into a relationship through words.
Okay.
You know, like words.
Because most of like, I don't really understand it, but you know, anyway, it is what it is.
Like, you can say all sorts of sweet things, make you feel all good, and you know, they can start becoming your emotional addiction. You know, you get your emotional fix from them. You get attention from them that makes you feel good.
Yeah, but then, you know, when somebody is in love, sometimes you know, you reach a point whereby you don't listen to what people say, and you ignore all the bad signs, all the red flags. You ignore them, and you're just like, hey, I'm just gonna be with this man anyway. You know,
I think, you know, when it comes to that, when you just refuse to listen to people, I think that often has to do with soul ties.
Wow.
Because now we're going further. Because if you're not connected to someone in a way that because the soul tie, how I would describe it, is that everything you do, all the decisions that you make, think about what that person with whom you have soul tie with will think about it, or what their opinion is about it. You see, and so you don't necessarily have the same kind of soul tie with your mother as you have with your girlfriend that maybe you've been intimate with before marriage. You see, and so your mother might be saying to you, "Ooh, boy, careful, boy," you know, but you wouldn't listen to her because you're more concerned about how this girl is making her feel, and what this girl might think. And you know, if you do something like this, is she going to leave you? And if she leaves you, she's going to leave you with this sort of whole. Does it make sense?
Okay.
I think it's a matter of we need to realize our value in God, and you know, everything and everyone in our lives needs to align with.
Yeah, I think somebody a long time ago told me, like, a girl has to be so much hidden in Christ that a guy has to find Christ first to get to her. You know, unfortunately, I think a lot of people, they don't hide themselves in that way. They just, they just give themselves away to anybody. Eventually, they end up like, being in a relationship with everybody. So they'll be from one relationship to another, and
4 children, 5 fathers.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
No, but it's true. It happens. 4
children. Now, 4 children by 5 fathers.
5 fathers, yeah. Because the other one is a stepfather.
Yes.
And
he's the hero of the story.
Yeah. So, but when you look at these things, like we have to be very careful because the Bible actually tells us, like if you are intimate with a prostitute, you become one with a prostitute, basically. So it doesn't matter how many guys or men you have slept with in your relationship, you're just gonna become one with all of them. And that's where it comes, like where you're talking about the soul ties, because now you are connected to all these people, and now all their demons, they are also following you, and you end up being a mess at the end of the day. So yeah, hide yourself in Christ. Any man or any woman has to find Christ in you before getting to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
and God can cure us and save us and relieve us from our past.
Yeah. Wow. I love this, and I think we've had a wonderful conversation that people don't really talk about these things. A lot of people are being misled because they just do whatever. They don't get the guidance to say, hey, I think I need to take my time to be deep in prayer, to pray for myself and my future husband, and I pray that you get a wonderful husband who's going to love you for you, not just to use you, but who's going to add value. So what you have to do is just get busy and start working on yourself, be smart for him, and,
be smart for him.
Yeah. All right, I think our time is over for today. Any last words? Oh no. All right, thank you very much.
It's lovely being here.
Thanks so much for coming, and we appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.